Welcome to the Still Curtain podcast. It's Sunday, December 7th, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are 7-6 and first place in the AFC North after a 27-22 win over the Baltimore Ravens on the road in week 14. I'm Josh Yourish, as always, joined by Mark Powell. And Mark kind of felt like the Steelers maybe didn't deserve to win this football game, but Mike Tomlin voodoo magic strikes again.
Yeah, look, we'll take any win. Like, I'm not here to protest the victory because the Steelers have been on the wrong side of this on multiple occasions. But I will say two wrongs don't necessarily make a right. So, most of my friends and family are Steelers fans, and I received messages from them after that Isaiah Likely touchdown that was called back.
Yeah.
They referenced the Jesse James play from a few years ago,
2017.
Yeah, and I would say that Jesse James play should have been a touchdown. I agree. It does not mean that the Isaiah Likely play should have been called incomplete. Like, those are two very different things. And look, like I am happy that the Steelers won. I'm happy that they're 7-6. I always feel a little bit of ick when they get it from or they receive the benefit of the doubt from the officials, because I feel like most of the time I'm on the other side of that argument where I'm complaining about the refs for some reason. So when they get the benefit of the doubt from the officiating crew on a play that, I mean, if I were a Ravens fan, I'd be pretty furious about that, frankly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and like, there's a lot we can talk about. I'm happy that, I feel like the offense did its part. The defense fell apart at halftime again, and we can get into all that. But I am curious, like, your feeling as a Steelers fan, like when you win by these means, like, do you feel awkward about it? Do you take that into account? Like how do you feel? I guess.
Complicated. Which
yeah,
I'm not telling no Steelers fan should feel conflicted about this in terms of like,
win is a win.
A win is a win. You take a win, however you can get a win. So I'm not saying like, oh, you don't celebrate it or whatever. Like, do whatever you do for a win. Like, they won. Super fun. I just always take like a zoomed out view of this team. Even if it makes the playoffs, I don't see it doing anything. So I've come around to the point of, if they lose more games than they win down the stretch, they're more likely to make actionable change this offseason. So that colors my opinion of, like, I'm not devastated. I wouldn't be devastated if they lost, because I just, it's on a treadmill and I'm ready to get off it one way or another. And they're not going to get off it by just going on a run and winning a Super Bowl. So I think that colors my feeling about it more than the awkward nature of, like, that definitely was a touchdown. But that was definitely like, there are actually more instances in this game beyond just that touchdown. The Steelers' second touchdown of the game came on a very questionable, outright bad penalty on the Boswell field goal that gave the Steelers a first down, and then Gainwell runs it in on that pitch play. That was not a penalty, should not have been called a penalty. So yeah, the Steelers like got a really fortunate whistle. I mean, it really, even after that touchdown, it kind of spiraled on the Ravens a little bit. The holding on the punt return, the holding on the first play that made it 1st and 20. Not that those weren't penalties, or those shouldn't be called penalties because they had a touchdown taken off the board questionably. I thought this officiating crew was just bad in general. And
that's
when it makes it worse when they're poor communicators, right? Like, I don't actually even know, it was not a crew that I was necessarily familiar with. Like, there are a lot of familiar faces.
We didn't hear that call on the broadcast.
No.
Right?
Yeah. So like sometimes that's mic issues, but even when he was announcing things, like, that was bad. We could go back to the the Rodgers self-catch reception that I don't think okay, yes, funny that I'm litigating this before ever actually litigating the likely touchdown.
Yeah.
But yes, Rodgers had both his hands on that football when his knee was down. Whether he had possession or control, I'm very dubious of that.
There's
Like,
just enough close calls where I'm just like, this
yeah,
is kind of a bad look
if you're
almost,
if you're a Ravens fan, you absolutely
I'd be
feel
furious.
robbed. Like, I'd be apoplectic after that,
Yeah.
especially because you're an actual I don't think the Ravens are a good team to let the Steelers
They have
offense do
potential
that to
though.
you, but they have Lamar Jackson. This
Yeah,
is a
like
prime
anything
Lamar
could happen.
Jackson season, relatively healthy. Like, we can also talk about where he's at and the effect that had on the game.
Mhm.
But yeah, just a lot of weird calls. The likely touchdown and my feeling specifically on that play as I ramble, it was definitely a catch. Like, it's not that he had to make a football move. He had to
Yeah.
have the time to make a football move at least, but also, like, if you catch the ball and have both your feet down in the end zone, isn't then the play like, what purpose would a football move then serve? So I don't know.
I mean,
It's a bad call.
we hate we hate that rule as Steeler fans for obvious
I think
reasons,
every
right?
football fan hates the catch
No
rule
one
because
enjoys that, and like
it's
when
just
it's
ridiculous.
used against you, it's such bull s.
Yeah.
It's not good for anyone involved. So like, sure, it worked to the Steelers' benefit this time around, but like
Mhm.
next time it could be the opposite. And we've been in this on this live stream previously where I felt like we've had I guess opposing fans kind of hop
Mhm.
in and be like, the
Yeah.
Steelers got lucky with X call or Y call. So I just like I want to start by just being straight up like I think that should have been a touchdown. Now, would the Steelers have won?
No.
When they
No, they wouldn't have.
well, that's
They
that
could not move the ball. They could not move the ball.
that
Their
is one
3
person's
drives
viewpoint.
their
There was
3
still time on the clock, so there is yes, they weren't moving the ball. I would probably agree. I would agree with you that the chances were slim. Now there was still time on the clock, so you can't officially say like that call lost the Ravens the game. But did it make the did it take their chances away from them? Absolutely, because the Steelers got to kick the ball back to the Ravens with like a
Mhm.
minute left or something. And and like you had 2 holding calls within the first 3 plays. So at that point, their
Mhm.
chances were kind of stolen from them. Yeah, it's just like it's frustrating for me to see like such a great rivalry kind of come down to a play like that. And like I know that John Harbaugh is going to be asked about that. I know Mike Tomlin's going to be asked about that. And so like we're going to have what should have been, a huge win for the Steelers, like something that we
Mhm.
could actually celebrate on this podcast, which is a rarity these days.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of stolen from us too, and like that's not fun for anyone. So yeah, I just it's a bad situation to be in as a fan of either team, really, but definitely as a Ravens fan. So like I want that on the record that like we are not in favor of Isaiah Likely getting that touchdown taken away. I messaged you when it happened. You messaged me back that the Ravens got screwed. Like we're on the same plane here, you know?
So, to my point of no, the Steelers would not have driven down the field and scored. The Ravens defense was not good, has not been good this
Yeah.
year. They have no pass rush, and we've seen Rodgers turn back the clock a few times this year against defenses that have no pass rush. But as they started to figure out later in the game that, oh, just because Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Adam Thielen are out there now for the Steelers offense does not mean we have to respect them as legitimate NFL receivers.
Yeah. They are
And
not.
the Steelers' final 3 drives of the game, I know you want to talk about the defense because I agree the defense was terrible. The final 3 drives of the game for the Steelers, 3 and out, gained 5 yards, punt, 3 and out, lost 5 yards, punt, 3 and out, gained 3 yards, punt. And that's how you win the game. And I mean, it just, the conversation about the deep ball, the Steelers hadn't completed a pass over 20 yards, over 20 air yards downfield since October. So they end that streak. They complete 4 such passes in this one. The Ravens really tried to man them up on the outside a lot, I think mistakenly. And the Steelers kind of got to some of those looks because they actually played wide receivers today, elevating Valdez-Scantling from the practice squad and then bringing in Adam Thielen off waivers and pretty much exclusively playing those guys. Calvin Austin got some run as well, but no Roman Wilson whatsoever. Questionable game plan defensively from the Ravens. Some promising things from the Steelers offense, but to me, it mostly comes down to like deep ball variants. Okay, you hit a couple of them this time. The Steelers finished with what, 31 rushing yards? I'll get the exact number because it's
34.
34. Okay, well, I don't want to shortchange
not
them.
Much better. Not much
Forgive
better.
me for shortchanging that offense.
Yeah, we were all very angry.
It's like the Ravens were selling out to stop the run, and you burnt them over the top with explosive passes, which is something they haven't been able to do. So credit to Rodgers, to Metcalf, and for doing it. But I honestly think that in a lot of ways, it's a trade-off the Ravens don't feel so bad about, because there were a lot of other deep balls that Metcalf didn't bring in and a fade at the goal line that didn't bring in. Like, this game in a lot of ways came down to red zone roulette, and the Ravens just never, they had bad luck in the red zone, and the Steelers were able to punch a couple of them in, one aided by a penalty. So I still don't think this is a good team. Like, this, does this win give you any more confidence about the Steelers than you had coming off of a bad loss, getting embarrassed by the Bills last week?
Not really. I mean, look, I think we just have to be honest about what the Steelers are and what this division is. The Steelers are not a very good football team.
Yeah.
I am waiting for the Ravens to become a good football team, but at this point, we're going into week 15, and they're 6-7, right? So it's like, they haven't proven to be much, and we're waiting for like Lamar to be Lamar and Derrick Henry to play like 2024 Derrick Henry, and we're not getting it. And the Bengals lost to the Bills,
and they're done now. 9 losses, like
they're out. So it's like I don't think the Steelers are that good, but I just like, I don't think this division is kind of trash at this point. And those are my words, not yours. But they're we'll go sign that. Yeah. So like, do I think the Steelers could win the AFC North? Sure. Do I think that means anything? No. Do I think that means something to Mike Tomlin? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is the thing. Like, the Steelers could absolutely use winning the North to their advantage, and to Tomlin's advantage. Like, that could mean keeping Tomlin for another year. That,
almost definitely will. I can't see any, there's no world in which all the talk.
It's like 9-8. Like, we won the North, but like the North was a 9-8 champion. And it's like, this win is a huge deal for Tomlin.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
It is the biggest of deals for him personally. Do I think it means anything for the Steelers' playoff chances? No, because like the Steelers might get to host the playoff game, which, could be fun, and maybe they get the right matchup, and maybe they get to win a playoff game. But
I still don't see any chance of this team winning a playoff game.
It depends who they face. It depends who they face. So, like, Daniel Jones got hurt today.
Yes, that's
for example,
significant.
If they face the Colts without Daniel Jones and they win a playoff game,
you beat Riley Leonard. Awesome. Like,
But they'll hype that up to infinity. Right?
I hear you. Like, I'm with you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it means a lot to Tomlin, and it means a lot to his future here and what he perceives his future to be, whether it be here or elsewhere. But is it a big deal overall to the playoff picture in the AFC? God, no. And no one should think otherwise.
To the Super Bowl picture, I agree with you.
No.
Well, in terms of, it is a big deal for the playoff picture, right? Like, in terms
okay.
chances to be the team representing the AFC North
Sure.
greatly improved.
Sure.
Neither of these teams are going to be a wild card team. So it's whichever team wins this division. So like in that respect of who's going to be the number 4 seed in the AFC, greatly changed. I don't
Awesome.
think either of these teams are going to make any real noise because the Ravens have some pretty serious flaws. To your point on like this is a huge win for Tomlin. The message finally broke through. The dam finally broke of Steelers fans and Steelers local media saying this has run its course. It is time for the Steelers to move on from Mike Tomlin. That had finally seeped into the national conversation. And he goes and wins a game like this where his team does not look very good at all. His defense completely falls apart in the second
But he gets
half.
to say he won in Baltimore.
But he went to Baltimore and won the biggest game of the season.
That matters.
And now they're leading the division.
Yeah.
And this could be a really, like, in my opinion, this win could be a really bad thing for the Steelers franchise long term.
Yeah. I don't want to turn this into a negative, I guess, right? Like,
yeah.
Look, do I think Mike Tomlin should not stay? Absolutely. But
but the Steelers just got one step closer to winning the AFC North, something they haven't done in years. Like that, it's hard not to look at that as a good thing. But God, this division's so bad. It means nothing.
Yeah. It means nothing. Yeah. I am on the same page as you. I want to treat this podcast like a victory because it is a victory.
I know it's hard to,
but it's definitely bad overall. Like grand scheme of things, like this means that Mike Tomlin isn't forced it. Like, so the Steelers gave up. I was curious how many rushing yards they gave up today. 217. 217. They gave up 217, which
it was almost as bad as last week. And Lamar,
which is probably like, I don't want to guess where it ranks in franchise history, but like the Ravens playoff game was second worst, and that was like 250 something. So where are we at with 217? It's got to be top 10 worst defensive performances against the run in franchise history. So but because they won, Terrell Austin's safe, which is something we can get into at some point. But
you divorce Tomlin from this defense more than I do. Like I see Terrell Austin as nothing more than a figurehead, but we can still get into the conversation.
Well, I think Tomlin is very responsible for this defense. I think he has divorced himself from this defense enough where ownership in the front office doesn't really take
where
him.
They would view firing a defensive
they
coordinator
view
as
Austin as like, that's
different
the change they need to make, when in reality it's much bigger than that. Because like Austin theoretically calls the plays. That's what I've read all season long. He calls the plays, and Tomlin's the guy that, like, it's his system. So it's Tomlin's system, which is a huge problem. But Austin is the one who is literally calling the plays from the playbook.
Yeah.
So that gives Tomlin a huge out with this defense, despite them being ranked like 20 something in the NFL with the highest priced defense in football. I have to keep reminding myself that, and I think our viewers of that, because they should be a top 10 defense, top 5 defense based on how much they're paying. I will agree with everything Grayson Brown is saying.
Yeah.
Austin is not safe. They will definitely fire him at the end of the year, but I would challenge any Steelers fan to think, is that good enough?
No.
It's not good enough.
No,
but like,
I mean,
that's their out, is what I'm saying. And like that's what they'll do when the season ends with a playoff loss to the Colts or something in the first round without Daniel Jones. And they'll be like, this is our out.
Now they've lost that game. It's been 10 minutes and you've turned on them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is their out, is firing Terrell Austin whenever they lose in the postseason. And like, that shouldn't be our standard.
So to the defense, let's talk about like on the field, because I think we've gotten, and rightfully so, there are so many big picture things last week and this week, to actually like what happened on the field. The Steelers defense looked pretty good in the first half.
Yeah, it was great.
And a lot of that was they were paying no mind to Lamar's legs. So Lamar has been dealing with this hamstring injury. It has greatly limited his ability to scramble, to be used in the design run game. And you saw how like the geometry changes for the Ravens offense because they can get an extra body in the run game, in the run blocking, by even when they're handing off from under center, because you have to respect Jackson's ability to boot out and keep the ball. TJ Watt was not respecting that at all. He was just crashing down the line. I think Romo is obnoxious to listen to. I think he did an amazing job diagramming that. Him just crashing down that line and making a lot of those tackles as an unblocked guy. And then Lamar started to realize, like, either he's realizing he's feeling better than he was, or it's just necessity at this point. He started to move. He started to run. They started to have some design zone reads for him. They started to get run pass conflict on the perimeter, out of structure, like move the launch point for him. And while I don't think Lamar was particularly good in this game, you saw like the difference between the Baltimore offense when Lamar isn't running and the Baltimore offense when Lamar is running. And the Steelers defense had no answers for the latter. I also think just like, God, the interior of the defensive line is so bad. It's so bad. We could talk about run fits, whatever. They were living in base. This is not a structure thing. They were living in base with a nose, two big defensive ends, and two outside linebackers, 5 down line. And they were getting washed out constantly, just like they were a week ago. And last week, some of that was, TJ's on the backside, like trying to cheat a little bit, trying to cut inside. Like he doesn't have the athleticism to make those plays anymore. A lot of this, especially in the second half, was just the line of scrimmage has moved 5 yards down the field, and Derrick Henry's untouched until he gets clipped at 6 yards into his run. If Derrick Henry could break tackles like he did last year in the playoffs, because I think he's noticeably
rushing day.
Yeah, he would have had a massive day.
Yeah. I mean, like I tend to think that the absence of Derek Harmon is huge on.
I agree,
team. And
but
I think
if he's that important, like,
well, that's what I'm saying. I think he is that important, and I think it stresses how much they had to try and fill that void during the draft, and they tried, but obviously, but like without a healthy Harmon, it's pretty much, I mean, in the first half, I saw a lot of success from TJ Watt, like on the back end.
Yeah.
I thought he was great at, kind of reading those run plays pretty early on and just realizing it's like rush downhill. And like, I need to make these plays or these plays late in my rush. But yeah, like once Lamar kind of adjusted to that and the Ravens adjusted to that, it was a mess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because all that has to happen is Lamar pulls it one time, looks pretty good, and then all of a sudden TJ has to slow up. Like
Keaton Mitchell had 12.7 yards. He had a 55-yard rush, but it's just like they didn't really stop anyone. I mean, Henry, they did a decent job against, but this whole idea of like making Lamar beat you, he almost did and probably should have.
Yeah. And he wasn't even good.
He wasn't even peak Lamar.
No. Like nowhere near good Lamar. He missed a ton of easy throws. Like the Ravens left a ton of meat on the bone. We said that about Caleb Williams and the Bears a couple weeks ago, where it felt like, man, they killed the Steelers and they could have done a lot worse. Like they could have done a lot more damage. The Ravens ended with 420 total yards in this game. And yes, they had 77 plays to the Steelers 51 and like kind of lopsided in that way, a lot more drives. But they left a lot of meat on the bone. Like they easily could have had a 500-yard day. Even just that one late in the game, it was kind of a screen, but kind of just a check down to Derrick Henry where he had tons of grass to run in front of him and Lamar short-armed it and it was, fell incomplete. Little plays like that, Lamar was missing a lot of those. the Rashad Bateman one, before they kicked the field goal on the drive before Likely's touchdown that wasn't, Bateman just kind of short-armed that and didn't bring it in, and that would have at least been a first down on third down, probably would have been a touchdown. Like, they played red zone roulette and won, but this defense inspires absolutely no faith. Like, it's exactly what we expected from them. The way they've been playing in recent weeks, nothing changed.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot when your two highest graded PFF players are James Pierre and Brandon Eccles.
I thought Pierre was amazing. I mean,
and again, that's not taking anything. That's not taking anything away from them. They balled out, but you know, when we started the season, that certainly was not the expectation. I mean, Jalen Ramsey.
Pierre was cut to start the season. Like, they brought him back on the practice squad.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey had a pretty poor performance. You know, not seeing much out of the rest of this defense. I mean, TJ, this was one of TJ's better games. I want to say, like, you know, overall, like second half, I understand, but like he was fine. He made a big impact in the first half, had a sack. Like, you know, I was happy with how overall that turned out. But like, yeah, I mean, you know, it's just Patrick Queen is playing like with from what I read earlier in the week, he's playing with like a huge bruise on his butt, apparently. So like,
which can't be fun.
Dude's like 50%, and people are mad at him, and I'm just like, he's out there. So like, that's something.
I was actually going to bring him up next. I think Grayson has a good point in the chat that I want to bring up after that. How did you feel about the way Queen played today? He was very noticeable.
Yeah, he was around the ball. I feel like he was, frankly, like he's what I'd expect from a guy who was kind of struggling to stay healthy. Like, I was wondering if he was going to play this week based on what I was reading from people, like, you know, in the locker room and you know, in practice during the week. Like, you know, he obviously trended in the right direction, which is why he played, but yeah, I was surprised he was even like in the backfield whatsoever. I guess I thought he'd be much worse. Now, do I think he played well? No, not really. But
yeah,
you know,
that's kind of where sorry, go ahead.
But like, did I expect any more from him? No. Like, I just like, you know, you have to take into account that these guys have played 14 weeks now, or, you know, 13 games. You know, yeah, I don't expect much more from Patrick Queen than what he gave. Now, should the Steelers have, you know, more guys behind him, a deeper group, a better you know, system that takes into account, you know, so and so might be hurt this week. Yeah, I would say so. So I don't know. That feels like a cop-out answer.
No, I think it's totally fair. Like, but
I don't think Patrick Queen is that great. Well, he hasn't been that great when he's been healthy this year.
No.
So
yeah,
like,
that was going to be my point.
With that precedent, do I expect him to make a huge impact when he's, you know, 50 to 60%? No, not really. Like, I'm judging these guys on a curve, and that curve is what they've done so far this year.
Yeah, I agree generally with the injury stuff. The Lamar rushing touchdown, he was the spy. He took a terrible gamble.
Yeah.
That's Patrick Queen, though.
Rough look.
That was always the deal with him in Baltimore. Like, he was not good when he was the main guy. And then when he got next to Roquan, who is like responsible in coverage and everything, and Queen can trigger downhill, he's an impact player. And I think we saw that today. Like, as a blitzer, I thought he made a really big impact when they just brought him downhill.
Yeah.
But just a weird game from him, and that's kind of the player he is, but just a really noticeable game. So it felt worth bringing up because he was around the ball a lot. And Jim Nance was really like saying like, wow, what a game from him playing against his former team. And I was like, yeah, I mean, he made some tackles.
It's fine.
He's been noticeable.
Yeah.
Not always in a good way. To Grayson Brown in the chat, which love the interaction. Appreciate you.
Yeah, please more. Please more.
I hear you both. This is what he said in the chat. I hear you both on total yards against the Steelers defense, but this defense is built off turnovers and long down situations with a lead. Tomlin views yards as empty calories. It's just their MO. I kind of agree somewhat generally on the idea of like, yes, they're built on splash plays. I disagree on the idea of like so Tomlin wants them to give up 6 yards a clip on the ground. Tomlin wants their interior defensive line to get completely washed out by like not very good offensive lines for 2-3 weeks in a row. Yes, the turnovers thing drives me insane. Yes, they force more turnovers than other teams. Yes, they drill it more, they practice it more. The ball's still going to bounce how it's going to bounce. Like there's just, you can't rely on that in such a meaningful way. They did again, and they won in large part because of it, because they scored a touchdown off of the Pierre interception, and points off of turnovers is a big thing for the Steelers. I disagree that that's the right way to go about things, is relying so much on turnovers. I also disagree that we can hand wave away 420 yards and well over 200 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
Because they got a James Pierre interception.
Yeah. So like, that's my issue with this question. It's like, I understand a defense built around turnovers, a bend but don't break defense, which the Steelers have been for a while now. But like, Mike Tomlin also preaches run defense. Like every time the pass defense gives up like, 300 yards to, so-and-so quarterback or whatever. He's always like, well, like we need to stop the run to set up 3rd and long pass defense. And he's given up 200 plus yards on the ground for 2 straight weeks now. And this is the second time against the Ravens now in 2 games. And it's like, I can understand that turnovers mean more to this defense. I can understand even planning for it, but I can't get behind like 200 plus rushing yards allowed is the norm.
Yeah. And it's becoming the norm.
That's not like something that this defense can afford to give up, especially when the offense is extremely limited most weeks. And it's like, that to me is where I kind of draw the line. Like I understand the thought process behind, like we get more turnovers, we bend but don't break, all this stuff. But yeah, like once you start giving up 200 plus yards on the ground, which is Tomlin's like entire focus in his press conferences most week from what I've listened to, that's where I just kind of draw the line. Like it's getting ridiculous.
Now we welcome on Shane Kubis, stillcurtain.com, and this podcast, as always, powered by stillcurtain.com. And we appreciate the interaction in the chat. Grayson, super fun. Shane, fun. The Steelers won.
Woo!
Kind of not a sustainable performance in any way, shape, or form.
The Steelers won a game where it didn't feel sustainable.
A win is a win is a win.
This has never happened before.
I've never heard of such madness. This is one of those times, guys. I'll start this off right away. You watch this game, you're like, man. Even when it was like 17-3, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
sure.
Oh, yeah, the entire time.
All right, like, we're gonna hit like 4 deep balls for the first time in ever. And, that's great because it's the Ravens, and this is what we do against them for some reason, at least once a year. And then, this is what you get, right? We almost blow it. Probably should have. Isaiah Likely, I apologize, my man.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you about that one.
He's cursed.
It's terrible. I mean, you have the one, a couple, like I think it was the other year, 2 years ago against Kansas City.
Yeah, opening game. Yeah,
last
2 years ago.
Rough. He had this like something about the end zone with Isaiah Likely.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but he's awesome when he's not in the end zone. And like,
so sorry for your loss of touchdown.
I don't know, but this is one of those games where you just watch. You're like, yep, this is what they do. I picked them to lose on the Still Current show this week with Tommy because I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with this anymore because I know now that they won, I'm gonna have to talk about them as a potential playoff team because of course I am, and that's where I'm at with it.
So I know who to blame now.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
The we haven't talked about the on the field stuff as much, especially with this offense and the new receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the new old receivers.
Did you see it making so they obviously were more spread. They couldn't run the ball.
No.
They haven't been running the ball even when they've been jumbo and everything.
Yeah.
So that's a worthwhile trade-off in my opinion, especially if it prevents them from rolling as many safeties towards DK. And I think it kind of created more one-on-ones, whatever. Do you think this is a meaningful change that going forward, you're all right, now Rodgers, giddy up, we're going to do this?
I think it's possible, but my issue is why did we have to sign Adam Thielen and bring up Marquez Valdes-Scantling to do that when there's better players not playing right now than those two, namely Roman Wilson, who they should trade after the season at this point.
Because he's not big. That's what Jim Nantz told me. Look how much different this is when they're big.
Good thing that no receiver on the roster who's above 6 foot can catch a ball that's contested ever anyway.
Yeah.
That size does you a whole lot of good when you can't catch the football regardless. So that's my thing is the schematic change itself, I think could potentially help this team, especially in the passing game, especially if they actually can run the football at any point or commit to doing so, which I understand. It wasn't working. You do what you got to do. But again, why is it just play the better players and do the same thing that you were doing? That's
because
just my
Tomlin doesn't trust them.
And then
Rodgers doesn't trust them either.
That's great. Learn how to evaluate talent, and then maybe you can complain about that.
Hey guys, our quarterback and head coach are aligned for the first time in 5 years.
Hey, good.
It might not be on the things we want, but they're aligned.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam Thielen and Marquez Valdes-Scantling had 4 yards combined on one catch. So they did. I mean, again, if you want to say they were out there, just
they were around
things, that's great. Why did we wait till now to do that?
And to me, okay, they hit the deep balls. You're gonna hit them eventually.
Yeah, when you go 0 for 13 and 3 picks over the course of however many games, you're eventually gonna hit one. You'd think, because it's not like Rodgers can't throw the football anymore. They just don't really dial up good opportunities for him to do so most of the time.
Yeah,
and then when we've gotten him, he has admittedly missed them, as has Mason Rudolph, who.
Yeah,
we don't want to talk about the Bears game where he missed 4 wide open ones.
Yeah,
but that's the problem is they haven't really tried to do this, and even when they have tried, it's just not worked out. This is eventually going to happen, and the Ravens, to be fair, outside of a couple games this year where they did figure it out defensively, have been susceptible to this type of stuff. They will do this. Am I supposed to be moved that you did it again? If you did this against almost any other team, I would be okay. Maybe there's something there. But this is what we do to this team. For some reason, John Harbaugh's brain stops working, and then Lamar Jackson's the worst quarterback ever.
Yeah, the Ravens receivers always have terrible drops and
anything.
I don't understand what the deal is, but I just don't in the chat. I think it's possible to win the big game, which I assume you mean the Super Bowl.
Oh God. No.
With the way the Steelers played today, the question is, can they stay motivated and win it? Yeah. I bring that up not to bash the idea. I mean, the Steelers can't win the Super Bowl.
No, they cannot.
But just to bring up, explain kind of why this isn't a sustainable performance in any way, shape, or form. We talked about the defense. You got completely run on. You're relying on, even turnovers, but also just red zone roulette. And that's not going to work out that often. It's just going to not break your way eventually. And also offensively, what did you see today, to anyone in the chat or whatever? What did you see today that you can hold on to as they can replicate that they have to hope they play a defense with no pass rush that decides to single them up on the outside and just give them a bunch of deep ball opportunities, and then maybe they'll hit them. Because they didn't even hit all of them.
I am hopeful about one thing.
Okay.
It did seem like at times they forced the ball to DK today, which I actually kind of like. He is the only option out wide on this offense that can make people miss. that can do something good with the ball in his hands, really, as a wideout. MVS and Thielen are MVS and Thielen. I don't have high hopes there.
No.
Now, the Ravens' pass defense came into this game ranked 26th in the league in terms of pass yards per game allowed.
Important to remember.
I am obviously taking everything with a grain of salt. But if Arthur Smith is fooled into giving DK more touches and kind of forcing it his way, forcing sounds bad, but like I do earnestly believe, like, whether it's like, a wide receiver in motion, whether it's like, he's obviously not the fade route guy. I mean, we saw they tried to throw a fade to him in the game,
unfortunately, whether they want him to be or not.
Yeah, but if they can find a way to get him good matchups and like real, I was somewhat intrigued by that today. And really, it's kind of their offense's only, I don't want to say only hope long term, but it's something that they have to find a solution to. Like they have to do that. So like that's kind of where I stand. It's like, do I take much from this game? No, because you're playing a bad pass defense. But do I think they can try and maybe copy something with DK? Yes, like they should, at least they should attempt it.
So something I've been interested in drilling down on a little bit, and I haven't really maybe done it so much, is we kind of just go, well, the Steelers couldn't run the ball again. Why? I mean, like, I don't think this offensive line is particularly good. I think there are also a lot of not good offensive lines that can run the ball well. The Bills did it last week with 2 backup tackles, and yes, that's against the Steelers defense, so it's kind of different. Yes, the Ravens were selling out to stop the run. Like, I think that's also a huge part of it. They were crowding the line of scrimmage a lot. Broderick Jones isn't out there, and I mean, that apparently matters.
Might be a net positive.
I kind of think I like Warren. I kind of think dude doesn't have great vision, and you need a little more patience maybe, but also no other running back is really changing things. So like, Shane, do you have any read on why this run game just flat doesn't work? Was it just the Ravens selling out? But it's been multiple weeks.
I think a lot of it honestly comes down to, like, and you brought up with Warren, he is very much a downhill, like, full speed runner. He is a north and south player. And I think with the right offensive line and with the right scheme, I think that can work. But I think this scheme in particular, a very zone heavy scheme traditionally with Arthur Smith, that vision or lack thereof certainly can come back to bite him sometimes. And more importantly, I think that's why they brought in Caleb Johnson. But he has not been given an opportunity.
He's a great zone runner, or at least was at Iowa.
He was.
He's a ghost at this point. I mean,
that's the thing, is like, that was, I think, what they were hoping was going to be the case, was they could run a lot of the zone concepts that Smith has run traditionally with Johnson, and have Warren be kind of continue to be the, not necessarily scat back, but change of pace back guy who can handle the passing game work, can break a long run when he gets the blocking he needs. But that's not what's happened, right?
Yeah.
For better or for worse. So he is the feature back, at least in the run game. Gainwell has obviously had a massive role in this team.
I think Gainwell might be their best back, which I never thought I would say.
In the sense that, like, the most productive,
running the football in this scheme,
might be. He does have more pure speed and quickness than Warren has. Warren is just so hard to tackle that I think if they can just find a way to get him in more space, which that's the issue. The offensive line isn't really good enough to give him a ton of open space ultimately, right? Most of the time. That's why the jumbo package has been their best way to do that in some games. It hasn't worked as much recently. Part of the problem also, you lose Darnell Washington in this game. That kind of craters everything too, I think. I think he's kind of the linchpin for this entire thing, working at least. But you're right. I think that ultimately Warren is probably not the best fit for this scheme, at least, if nothing else. And I do think he is very much boomer bust in his production, partly because of that.
I just thought he was going to be a better fit because I think he has like one cut.
He has the skill set possibly to do it, but it's not his style.
I don't know that he has this. Right. Yeah, he doesn't really have the patience for it. Like I feel like I see him run into the back of an offensive lineman like way too often when it's like, wait for the angle, man. Like it's gonna come open. It's gonna come open. Be patient with it. And they drafted a running back. Like they tried to do it, but then they paid Warren, and it kind of feels like he's not the best. It kind of feels like the Steelers keep trying to shoehorn offensive players into roles that they're not built to play. Like they want DK Metcalf to be Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
They want like this, high volume guy, or Puka Nacua or somebody, this high volume, catching traffic guy. They want Warren to be this string it out zone runner. It's just not what these guys are. Like, are they misevaluating? Are they miscasting guys? Because for all the scheme stuff, I don't think this roster's good. Like, I don't think this team is very good.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I think we know what they are. Yeah.
The whole thing as far as misevaluating talent, I think it's more that for whatever reason, and this has been a big reason why I've felt like, regardless of how good you think he is or not, that Tomlin probably needs to coach a different team than this team, is he wants to do things a very particular way, offensively, defensively, in every facet. So he's going to do that thing no matter what is going on. He just hasn't been able to get, between him and Omar Khan, enough of the right talent to do that as effectively as it can be done. Now, it will never be effective enough to win a Super Bowl. I'm just going to tell everyone that I do not care how many good players this team accumulates. I do not care how well they do in free agency or the draft. Playing the style of football that they are trying to play on a weekly basis will never win a Super Bowl.
No.
Which is NFL Iowa.
Yes, pretty much, yeah. It will not work, but it could work significantly better than it is if they actually had the pieces in place in the right fits. If they did have a receiver that was an Amon-Ra St. Brown type of receiver, if they had a running back that could
Adam
do a lot
Thielen,
of things,
isn't it?
maybe 10 years ago. The point being is that you're right to say that like they aren't evaluating talent properly, but they also aren't then, once they realize that they don't fit the scheme, they're not doing anything to change that.
Yeah.
And that's the ultimate kind of issue with this team, is that they don't adjust to the things that are given to them and shown to them plain as day. They just keep kind of getting after it and hoping that eventually it's going to work. Yeah. And sometimes, like this game, it does. And then they're kind of rewarded for that fact.
Yeah. I feel like I've said this line on the pod before, so please forgive me. The Steelers draft players for what they are, not what they can be. And that doesn't mean that some of them don't develop into good players. They develop into good players at what they were drafted for. If it's a player that they need to kind of maneuver around, like it's just not going to end well.
No.
And I feel like there's a couple examples there. I see it all too often. How much better has Broderick Jones gotten since he got into the league?
None.
They moved him around plenty.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, he
hasn't developed at all.
Was potentially
he's just already such a finished product that it hasn't mattered a lot with him, which is good.
That's what I'm saying.
But they can't take swings on. Yeah, they can't take swings on guys who have a lot of latent potential because they're not going to get the most out of them in most cases.
They will not develop them.
I almost feel like Omar Khan has kind of like recognized that with Tomlin a little bit, because this last draft was not a big swings. Like some of the late rounds, maybe like a Dante Kent pick is just a swing on athleticism, whatever, but that's 7th round. Like that's what you're doing.
Yeah, who cares?
But like Harmon, pretty finished product kind of guy, had been at 2 schools. Like you kind of know what you're going to get there.
Fits the mold of what they look for.
Like Caleb Johnson, veteran back that fits the system well. Obviously that worked. But like, I don't know that it's early on. It was more consensus board draft, which I think he still does well. But even Jack Sawyer, super veteran guy, won a championship. You know, Tomlin will like
run
that
defense first type of player typically. Yeah.
So I do think a lot of the issues still funnel through the lens of Tomlin, and I mean obviously they do, but it's just incredibly frustrating to see a game where you jump out in front, because we're still talking about a game that they won to take the lead in the AFC North. Where
just throw that out there, everybody.
Yeah, where you jump out in front, you should be in command of it, and you do absolutely nothing to grab a hold. And it's really frustrating because on either side of the ball, there's nothing they can bank on. Like, what's the identity?
They don't know. And like when Tom was asked about this, he said their identity is 6-6, and he's mad about it. If you remember that from last week,
Yeah,
because that is what it is. Like they are a firmly mediocre football team. They're somewhere between the 18th and 22nd best team in the NFL, basically like clockwork each and every season for almost a decade.
Yeah,
and you don't do that by accident. I'm sorry. Like the things you were choosing to do are leading to the exact same outcome. And Tomlin, of all people, is the type of person who I imagine would tell you that like, and this is a cliche, but it's Tomlin, so cliche. Like he would tell you like doing the same thing over and over again, expect a different outcome, obviously is the definition of insanity. And yet, here we are.
And yet.
Yeah.
That's my biggest gripe with this entire thing is you can sit here and tell me that like you have this identity you want to reach and you want to win football games your way. When it hasn't worked for a decade, that is simply on you for not pivoting at some point in some form or fashion. Look at what, even though it hasn't worked out with the Super Bowl quite yet, look what your own division rival did at the quarterback position in particular. They said Flacco got it done for us a while ago, but he is getting older. This isn't working anymore. There's this electric football player that we think we can build an offense around and revolutionize offensive football. We're going to take that swing.
Yeah.
And look what it's done for them overall.
And they didn't have to fire a coach to do that.
Harbaugh knew this wasn't going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
They need to buy into something.
They just bought in.
And it's so funny that they obviously, of course they won this game. Like, of course they won this game.
Exactly.
They turn every game into a coin flip. Like it's what you do when you, to what Grayson had said in the chat earlier of like, they're not so worried about like the empty yardage. They're living on turnovers. They're living on, bend, don't break at the red zone. That's just gonna drag every game into a coin flip because you're distilling it down to 4 or 5 plays actually mattering for the outcome instead of trying to, and hoping you win 3 of those 5 instead of let's dominate the opposing team for 40 of our 60 plays. How about that? Like, it's maddening that the Steelers at this point in the season are again leading the AFC North with a game in hand on the Ravens, heading into a stretch of.
And the Bengals are done.
The Bengals are done. So the two teams with superstar quarterbacks, one has fallen away because of a quarterback injury. The other has kind of fallen away because of a quarterback injury and a slow start and a bunch of different things. You've been gifted this division, and there's no reason to think you can make any noise in the AFC playoff picture, which is not dominated by Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, Josh Allen and the Bills are kind of moving up there a little bit, but like it's the Patriots with Drake May in year 2. It's the Bo Nix Broncos. You're never going to get me to believe in Bo Nix. Like It's Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. This should be the year. Like everything has broken right, including winning this game on a dubious touchdown overturn call. And
it was a touchdown.
On a touchdown that was taken away.
I'm going to say that was a touchdown.
Yeah, it was a touchdown.
To Shane's point, he mentioned how the Steelers are probably somewhere within the 16 to 20 range in terms of most talented NFL teams. What Tomlin does best is taking teams within that 16 to 20 range and making them like 12 to 15. And he's done it, and he's done it every year. He does it most years.
It's true.
And that is incredibly valuable to some franchise, especially, those that like just haven't made the playoffs in a while,
that don't have 6 Super Bowls in there.
Yeah, right. It's just like
one of which he was responsible for.
Yeah, and like I understand why certain, when they say if Tomlin was available, like 15 teams would take him. Yeah, those are teams that are 15 to 30.
Yeah,
that's the point. Those are the 15 to 30 teams, and the teams that should be 1 to 15, like the Steelers, don't like they need something new. And like,
I think that's one of the better
to admit. It's okay to just say that. Like,
I think that's one of the better
Rant's
ways
over.
anyone's framed that.
Rant
Yeah.
over, but
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Again, one quick reminder, guys. They won this football game.
I
and
know.
This is how we feel right now.
Yeah.
By the way, real
Yes.
quick.
I'm happy
if-
about the win. I don't want to pretend like I'm not happy.
Yeah,
about it.
I wish I could be happy about a win.
It's a
for this
win.
team
Win
at
is a
this point.
win. We'll take
It is, but it yeah. So right now, obviously, this will change most likely, regardless of whether the Steelers stay in the 4th spot or not in the AFC playoff picture. They would be slated to have the Bills come back to Acrisure Stadium.
Oh, kill me now.
If the seeding continue to stay the way that it is now,
I'm out.
I'll have to see. Obviously, it'll depend on what the Bills do the rest of the way, because right now they're in the driver's seat for that 5 seed, because I expect the Patriots to hold on to that division. If that's the case, again, everything that we talk about from literally this moment forward till the season is over probably doesn't, unfortunately, mean a whole lot of anything, because the outcome is pretty much determined if that's the matchup. There is almost no way that this current Steelers team could beat the Bills even in a home playoff situation. Not only because of what we just saw them do to us a week ago, but because, again, they play a brand of football that the Bills simply will not lower themselves down to in a playoff scenario.
For some reason, the Ravens in a playoff scenario, the Ravens won't lower themselves to that, but they will in the regular season. And
they'll do it every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Yeah, but it's pretty bleak. And to the Ravens' point, because this is probably going to come down to week 18, right? Like,
probably. If it doesn't come down to week 18, I'm going to be floored, because this is exactly what it's set up to do now. The Steelers are going to lose one of the games against the Lions, the Browns, or the Dolphins.
Well, they're definitely going to lose to the Lions.
They should lose the Lions, but I would actually put money
Detroit
on them losing to the Dolphins and beating the Lions somehow, because that's how this team operates.
Yeah.
But anyway,
they're going
to lose one of those games. The Ravens are going to win the rest of their games somehow. It's going to be week 18. They're going to have, again, the Ravens are going to be down one game, and they're going to win that game, and they're going to get the tiebreaker, however that works out, and they're going to win the division. That's how this is going to play out. Or, and I guess the best case scenario, if you want to say best, the Steelers do end up winning that game for whatever reason. They make the playoffs, and again, their reward is to get shit stomped by the Buffalo Bills. Is that fun for anyone? We've already seen that happen literally before already, not that long ago.
Hey, they get to host the playoff game.
And if that happens, if they win the division,
stomped at home.
Their fan base gets to watch it happen
so much better.
In person. Yeah.
There's no way they move on from Tomlin.
No, there's zero shot.
Yeah.
Zero shot. If they win the division, there is zero. They will throw out any of the context of how they got there and run it back. They might bring Aaron Rodgers back.
I don't know about that. But I've been saying for weeks.
Because if they win the division, their pick's going to be what, 23, 24?
Something like that.
I've been
They're not going to get a quarterback.
That Austin is the fall guy. So when they eventually leave Austin or lose, Austin will be kicked to the curb.
Right.
That'll solve everything.
No, totally. But yeah, like, what are you going to do?
To the defense, Shane, because we didn't have you on when we kind of talked about, like, to me, it felt like a tale of, it was a sort of a tale of two halves, but like it was a tale of two Ravens. The first one was the Ravens without Lamar as a runner, where TJ Watt is not respecting the boot and just crashing down the line of scrimmage and tackling Derrick Henry. And then in the second half, it was, oh, wait, he can run again. And then they got whatever they wanted. Is that kind of what you saw? That do you feel like the Ravens made any actual changes, or if it was just, okay, Lamar's going to keep it a couple times, that slows TJ. Now we have our numbers in the run game again, and we're golden?
No, I think that's the biggest reason for that. And again, like, that was kind of the issue the Ravens have had since Lamar came back, that he hasn't been as dynamic of a runner. And that makes sense. Obviously, multiple lower leg injuries. You're dealing with a lot of stuff in that way. He's not going to be as willing or able to take off and run and do those things. But once he started to show he was willing to do so, even if it still isn't quite, vintage Lamar or anything like that, it did influence how the run game was going to be tackled. And ultimately it allowed Derrick Henry to have a couple nice runs, especially late in the game. Keaton Mitchell had the big one down the sideline that luckily wasn't a touchdown, very easily could have been, which would have made it even harder for us. But realistically, this run defense, whether it's against the Ravens this week, against the Bills the week before, they and this is weird to say for, again, a rookie player that I kind of felt was more of a pass rusher, especially. They really miss Derek Harmon right now. Is he at least just is a bigger body, a player that can hold up against the run, has the strength to actually displace people as a run defender. And frankly, outside of Cam Hayward, no one else on this team has that ability.
Yeah.
We got really excited about YA Black. And I think from the preseason, like kind of rightfully so, that he showed anything
really
as a pass rusher at that size.
He's got potential,
He still does. Yeah. He was getting washed out in the run game.
It's a tough matchup, too, with the Ravens because they have so many big body guys that can match his size, and he is a rookie. But he did not help himself in this game, certainly. It was not a great performance. And he just lacks the explosiveness, I think, to kind of use that size to its advantage more against another, again, equally sized player and some of the guys they have in the interior there, especially like Falele and guys like that. But, like, realistically, this run defense has no answers for anyone currently. No. They just don't.
They were living in base. A couple weeks ago, they were a weird base 4-3 team. They tried
that was fun.
They tried all the linebackers, and now they're like, nope, nose tackle for what? They probably had a nose out there for like 60% of the snaps.
Yeah, I'll have to check the numbers later.
Some of that is, okay, there were in a lot of 21 with Ricard, but you're playing a lot of base to give up over 200 rushing yards. Like, teams that do that do it because they're stubborn as hell about playing nickel because they don't want to give up explosives in the passing game. And oh wait, they still gave up explosives in the passing game. Like I just don't even know. To me, it's becoming less and it is schematic. It's becoming less and less schematic. It's just like they don't have dudes on that D line.
No.
Yeah, I've got a quick quote from Aaron Rodgers here.
Lovely.
I want to read while we're on live. Quote, maybe you guys will shut the hell up for a week.
No.
That was his response to squeaking out a win that they probably shouldn't have gotten.
You know what, though? I will say
he played well.
That's the thing. Something I'm going to say, because I have an article that's going to come out probably tomorrow about this. He played the best game of his Steelers career.
Yeah, it was good.
Game.
It was good.
He hit deep shots. He wasn't like a scaredy cat in the pocket most of the time. He wasn't useless whenever the play was about to break down. He had, again, arguably the best game of his Steelers career, the best game he's had probably in 4 or 5 years now, if I had to say. And they still barely won against a team that like was falling over themselves for most of the game until like the last 15 to 20 minutes of game time. And that's because this team is designed to do this. It doesn't matter what they do. They're designed to have this game end the way that it did. So it's like, what do you want me to do, Aaron? Good. I'm glad you played well. I'm not yelling at you this week.
Yeah.
It's everything else.
It's not you, man. Like right now.
He gets the week off.
Yeah. You can chill this week.
One of the best throws he made was an incompletion, but it was it was kind of a seam, a little bit of a bender to DK that he kind of layered in between two defenders and went right off his fingertips because that was over the middle of the field. He had an offensive lineman getting dumped in his lap and he stood in and ripped that. And I was like, okay. If you can
still do this stuff,
I know,
he just
but
doesn't want to.
He's been unwilling for weeks.
I know, he doesn't want to.
If it's there, he needed everybody to throw him a birthday party at film section
or something,
and now he's willing to take a hit for them. Like I was just like, if that was there all season, things would be at least they wouldn't be different because it's Mike Tomlin team. They'd still be one game over 500.
I was going to say
it would feel a little bit different.
The amount of stuff that this team could probably do if they just were willing to do so. It was so frustrating because, listen, I'm not an NFL coach, right? But I'm just saying, if my team looked like this team, I'd be throwing shit at the wall every week. I'd be like, let's try this scheme I found from 1984 in like college. Let's try this play. I came up with it yesterday.
Can't be worse.
I don't care. At some point, you have to do something else. And that's the thing is they don't though. Like it either works or it doesn't, and they go home and they do.
I just saw the replay of when Tomlin was walking off the field. I don't know if y'all noticed that he blew a kiss to the Baltimore crowd, and that was his response to.
This was the most Tomlin win ever.
and that's
He's
what's
so
great.
proud of it.
He is
too.
so happy right now.
So proud.
And
He's
I'm
like,
kind of happy for
He's
him.
like, they booed me. They
Yeah.
chanted that I should be
how
fired.
dare they boo
Look
Renegade?
at that. They booed me, and I fell ass backwards into first place in the division right afterwards.
It's a great
He's
job
so
if you can
excited.
get it.
What are they gonna do now, Mike?
It's a great
It
job.
was the
if you can
same
get it, guys.
game.
Yeah. The same game as most of your losses, frankly, outside of last week.
You know what? This is gonna sound harsh, but I feel like Tomlin's like coaching career the past like 9 or 10 years has felt like whenever a DB like celebrates after a pass is thrown like 10 yards out of bounds. Like
Very
where it's like
similar.
you
Very
didn't do anything really, but like it worked out for you, and I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
But like you didn't really do anything different or like
Yeah.
special. You're just like kind of doing your thing, and it just happened to work out. Like I don't know, man. I just can't get excited. I literally couldn't be excited about this. That's not good.
Yeah, like Tomlin Mason Rudolph kicking and screaming into a playoff game at Buffalo, and
I
goes
just
strap.
I just can't
Yeah.
do it. Like the fact that I can't, like, again, I like to think of myself as an objective fan of
We do our
sports in
best.
general, but like I should be able to come on this podcast and be like, you know what? Hell yeah, man, we won this game.
Nope.
Screw everything. I can't do it because I know what is coming in the next 4 weeks. I can feel it.
It's
I
so
am conditioned
fake.
to understand what's going to happen.
I can feel it.
What
I can feel
Mark,
it in my bones.
what win did you
man.
feel best about this season?
That's good.
Two-part question maybe. What win did you feel best about in a vacuum? And at what moment did you feel like highest on this team? For me, I think it's the same, but where do you have like a moment? Because it's felt bleak for a while for me.
I mean, the win I felt best about was against the Colts. I felt like that, and like even that was borderline, but like, it was at home.
It was like 5 turnovers, but
but it was a big win at the time. I enjoyed the win over the Vikings in Dublin. That was fun because we got to celebrate pretty early. We came on. I feel like that was a pretty optimistic pod. Very rare optimistic pod. We were
and they still almost.
We were
blew
like,
that
oh
game.
man, this team could be good.
You were one Peyton Wilson chase down tackle away from.
Yeah.
I know, but like we were pretty cool there.
I was probably.
But yeah, Bengals or Vikings. The rest were. I mean, every other result has been there's been something I've been pissed off about.
Yeah,
it's not good.
No,
I've tried. I really have.
Shane, do you have like a high water mark? Like mine's the Browns win, which feels dumb.
I don't count that though, because like it's
that
Dylan Gabriel was playing.
That's just
the mascot was playing.
That was my moment. Like
the mascot was playing.
The offense actually looked pretty good against a real defense.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I was just they were 4-1, right?
Yeah,
and I
guess.
That was my high water mark because after that Bengals loss, I was like, this is all done. It's the same team. Nothing is going to change ever. And time is a flat circle.
Mine was definitely the second Bengals game because like that was just a pretty thorough domination of a team that beat them previously.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like, okay, like, if the defense can settle down and like not allow 58 catches to Jamar Chase, it's probably good. That was when James Pierre mania started, which is continued since
mania.
He's just good.
Contract extension, right? We got to sign him for like 5 years, so he's 38 when he's done whatever. Like it realistically, that was the time where I'm like, okay, we're back on track, and then immediately they're just like, what if we weren't? What if instead we're going to lose to the Bears despite them trying so hard not to win, basically? Yeah. And then the Bills come in and not only beat the brakes off us, but do so in about as embarrassing fashion as you can do. Mm-hmm. Kind of killed me from there. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't love that very much. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's such a weird end of this. It's so Steelers, but it's such a weird end of the season of like the division title is like right in their grasp, and it feels really, really icky. Do you have? I mean, we can go in any direction on this game if we still have more like game specific thoughts about scheme, performance, players, whatever, or we can kind of take a peek ahead to the Dolphins game because I think that's a little bit interesting and could be
I
problematic.
have some. I can actually bring a little bit of depth. To
Yes,
that
you
one.
do. Yeah, you
So
can bring some depth there.
A little bit.
So Mark, maybe I'll go to you. Of like anything else on this game, or have we beaten this to death?
I'm a little discouraged by how happy they are about this win. Look.
How dare you
mean.
smile in my presence?
That sounds mean, but like, you know,
kind of fair.
It's kind
of
fair.
But like Rodgers telling the media off.
Yeah, like their victory lap.
Tomlin victory lapping with a kiss.
Yeah, there's a level of confidence you want them to have.
In the locker room, they were playing. What were they playing? They were playing. Sorry, I just looked this up. Something about. Sec. I have this here.
Okay.
Something about being in your trap or whatever.
Oh, that
you know that.
Wow,
like,
we
all know the song. We all know
the Kirk Cousins one.
It.
That's
the
Kirk
James
one.
I wanted the
James,
official
course,
song. Yeah. So that. I'm a little discouraged by like they should be happy. I'm happy. But like
us sitting at home mad.
You have you have the Lions coming up and the Dolphins, and like these are games that you have to win. Like it's not like they won the final game against the Ravens and clinched the playoff berth. Like they're treating this like it's their Super Bowl. And
I hate to break it to them. It might be.
It kind of is. I agree. I actually agree with you. This is kind of a wild take.
That's like too much for me. Like I just like I want them to treat a Week 14 win like a Week 14 win, especially when they've lost 5 of 7.
Yeah.
And you're a veteran-led team. It's not like this is like a young team with a rookie quarterback. Like their average age is like 45. Like I want you to act like you've been there before, because most of their players have been there before. Like, why are we acting like this is some like huge like season defining win when the season still has yet to be decided? So that's kind of my takeaway is like, and look to you know, I just looked this stuff up, so that's on me for looking this up before the pod was over. I probably should have waited, but my immediate reaction is like, what the hell, guys? Like,
I can
come on, guys. Like we barely squeaked this one out. It took the refs taking a touchdown off the board.
We don't have to talk about that, right?
And you're acting like it's your freaking Super Bowl. Like, there's a lot of work left to be done, and I'm not saying they can't do it, but I am saying that when this was like, especially given their hot start, like this was the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Why are we acting like this? We're not the Browns. We're not the Bengals, like coming back from 4-8 or something. Like we started the season this should be something we expect and should get done, especially when Mike Tomlin does this seemingly every year.
Yeah,
I'm just disappointed by that. So maybe that's just me. I'm not trying to.
We have reached the boomer period of the podcast.
I'm going to be a boomer. I'm going to be a boomer
which honestly, this team will do.
Roster is too.
That's some BS.
This team will do it to you, unfortunately.
Yeah,
that's some BS. I'm just saying.
My only note I wanted to mention before we move on for a minute is that DK Metcalf had more yards in this game than he had in the previous 5. And I think that's pretty hilarious and not actually that fun of a I don't think that's a fun stat. I think that's whoa, that's not good that he had like 140 yards in 5 games. That's
because it's not like he had 250 today.
Right. He had like 148, I think it was, which is awesome.
Yeah,
right? It's proud of DK.
Awesome.
Amazing
game. It's not even really a him problem necessarily. It's just, that's not good that he
they can't get any passing game going, any semblance of a passing game going whatsoever. So peek ahead, Shane, you have a unique perspective on this with your coverage of the Dolphins as well as the Steelers. Monday Night Football. So we have a lot of time to kind of talk about this, but I think it's worth peeking ahead with the Steelers now leading the division and potentially in a position where they could give that up, because I don't have any faith in the Steelers defense to have something interesting for old Mike McDaniel on Monday night.
Fair enough. I think this game is really interesting because if you would have told me, obviously like 5-6 weeks ago that, we're talking about the Dolphins-Steelers game, this conversation would be very different than it's going to be. But the way that the Dolphins have played as of late, getting to now 6-7 after starting, I believe it was 1-6, they have kind of reinvented their entire offensive game plan and what they're trying to do, because Tua, frankly, has been very bad this year and was bad for most of last year too. Like, he has been a turnover machine for most of this year up until recently. He just hasn't been getting it done. So they've been leaning on Devon Achane, the running game in general. Jalen Wright had a really good game in this game in particular that they won against the Jets. They're rolling right now with the ground game, and that is not good if you're a Steelers fan. Like, that is where they've struggled the most. Tua didn't have to do much in the Jets game, and it was cold weather, and it probably will be when they go to Pittsburgh next Monday night. Like, that should favor the Steelers, but I don't know how much the passing game for the Dolphins is going to matter if they can run the ball for 200 yards like the Steelers have been giving up for 2 games in a row. And I think a third could easily be coming. That's definitely the biggest concern that I'd want to note right away.
Weird thought, because I obviously haven't dug into this game yet, and it's kind of out there a little bit. Is it possible that with the Tua thing, the worst thing you could do as a franchise is have like one of these scheme lord offensive coaches make your bad quarterback look good? Like, was Brian Flores right?
Yes, he was 100%. That he was 100% right.
Yeah.
Tua is not a player that you can drop into any offense and expect a franchise caliber quarterback play from. He can't even really do it in the scheme that was designed essentially for him and his skill set.
Specifically for him, yeah.
He just, again, at the end of the day, like, and this has gotten worse instead of better over time, he doesn't have the arm talent to push the ball down the field in a traditional way. He relies so heavily on the, like, not only play action specifically, but the fact that he has to throw with timing and anticipation, that when the timing is thrown off and whenever he doesn't have a wide open receiver, he really struggles to reset and find a new receiver down the field or anywhere else on the field. He just has a very limited skill set that when teams started to figure out, like, okay, we only have to guard certain things in the passing game, he crumbles because he can't extend plays, because he can't really run that well. And even when he used to run more, he would get killed almost. So he stopped doing it, which is fair. There's just such a limited aspect of his game that you have to rely on the ground game. Luckily for them, it's been enough against some subpar opponents recently.
Yeah, I mean, Achane is on my fantasy football team.
Me too.
Yeah, same. Yeah. It's awesome. I love it.
He is
it's great. Unfortunate for me next week, probably.
Yeah,
he did get banged up in this game. Hopefully, he's all right for their sake. But
he is fantastic. Mike McDaniel did say that he could have come back in if necessary.
I think he'll be all right. Yeah,
he'll probably be just fine for Monday night, which means we're in for a treat, one way or the other.
On the Tua doesn't have the I'm just throwing random stuff, random thoughts out here. On the Tua doesn't have the NFL arm strength. Did you know? I feel like a lot of people don't. A lot of people know this, but also a lot of people don't know this. He's right-handed.
Yeah, he's supposed to be, but I guess his dad was like, actually, what if you were left-handed? And it's like, oh.
Yeah. Like, and his younger brother got to be right-handed. Like, it wasn't like a thing where they made them all be left-handed as some, like, like you want to be a left-handed reliever or whatever.
Yeah, like that would have made more sense. If
but
little weird.
Talia was, a college football quarterback, right-handed. Yeah. Tua is naturally right-handed. Of course, his arm isn't good enough.
That's a whole other thing. I would also argue it's gotten worse over the years because of his hip injury that he had.
Yeah.
I think his mechanics and everything to do with throwing the football has kind of degraded over time. You could tell just watching him the last 2 years compared to prior to that. Not that his arm was ever like electric by any means, but it wasn't quite as like, oh man, like this is a duck if it's past 20 yards.
Like Chad Pennington.
Yeah. So that's what we've kind of reached with him. Unfortunately, if it's not a like wide open crossing route, he tends to struggle with the throw.
Steelers will load up to stop the run.
Oh yeah.
See if they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much just have to stop Waddle, right? I mean,
the tight ends have gotten more involved.
Yeah, but like Waddle's going to be their main focus.
Yeah,
right?
he's the one that you have to worry about.
They'll have safety help for sure, but we'll see.
We'll be back on Monday night to talk about it with another instant reaction pod. We'll be back with more content on the YouTube page and, of course, on stillcurtain.com throughout this week, next week, till the end of the season. Thank you, gentlemen, very much. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us for an hour 20. We've gone longer and longer with these things, but it's just super fun hanging out, talking Steelers football, even when the team might not be the most fun. Your first place Pittsburgh Steelers heading into matchup with Miami next week. A win is a win, boys. A win is a win.
A win is a win.
Thanks so much to everyone. And until next time, as always, go Steelers.